All right, gonna sit it down this time a little bit differently than I typically do it. Back after 1 week hiatus, and things continue to go well. Probably a little bit shorter video this week, at least that's what I hope. It is Sunday night. It's about 9:30. Just enjoyed a Hearts game with Rebecca and Lauren, and hopefully get some good sleep because tomorrow, between having some time off and my 8 mile easy run and then a day on the slopes, I'm gonna need some energy. But really good couple of weeks of training. So it's gonna be weeks 8 and 9. Let me just briefly talk about week 8. Week 8 was my goodness, I'm always already getting spun around a little bit. So week 8 was 63.7 miles with about 4,000 feet of climbing, which was primarily on the roads. I had a really good long run a week ago from Saturday, but it was about 2/3 road and a third on some pretty cool trails. So not a whole lot to report on other than the Achilles tendonitis continues to get better. Not fast enough and not all the way there, but it continues to make slow but solid progress. So I'm not doing as much of self-massage because I just don't need to anymore. But I do use sometimes the magic stuff to put some heat on it. But overall, it just seems like it's gradually getting improvement. So that's the good news. The bad news is that the surgically repaired ankle, not the tendon that actually tore, but along the bottom outside of my ankle, it really seems to get quite sensitive if I do a long trail run on it. So let me talk a little bit about last week. So last week I was in Salt Lake for a couple days for work and got 66.5 miles and was hoping to get 70. I think Megan's training schedule would have only got me to the high 60s, but I was thinking that my long run on Saturday was going to push me over the edge because I always like to try to cheat up a little bit on my mileage. But the good thing was on Saturday I had a long, hard run on the trails. It's going to be the same course that we have the 55K in 2 weeks. So I felt like, given that I am in the middle of some fairly challenging training blocks, that my Saturday run was decent. I had a 12-minute overall pace. I mean, slightly under, I think 11:58, which to me, if I'm doing anything that has any sort of technical terrain or any sort of decent elevation gain or loss, if I could average 12 minutes per mile, I think I'm doing good. So with that said, I think the math is if I average, like, I want to say a 14-minute and 15-second mile, I'm going to have to double check my math when this video is done, that I'll be able to accomplish my goal at Western States. Now that number's extremely misleading because it doesn't factor in any downtime at aid stations and other problem areas such as climbing out of Michigan Bluff or Devil's Thumb in 100-degree weather, and that's extremely challenging. Even some of the downhill Western States courses, I'm going to have a really tough time with that section that goes down into Devil's Thumb, which is a really nice runnable downhill, but because it's so steep, I'm going to have a tough time doing that and averaging 14-minute miles. But it is a good rule of thumb to measure my effort against, and if I'm doing a fairly long training run like I did on Saturday, 23 miles, that I should be able to do that. If I do it comfortably at 12 minutes per mile, that's a good sign. But after last week of putting in almost 67 miles and 4,400 feet of climbing, and on top of my regular work schedule, and just some projects at home, which includes trying to get our backyard done and some other house chores. That today, and actually last Sunday, I was really beat and just spent a lot of time napping and recovering. And unfortunately, eating a lot of junk food. So one of the corrections or tips that Megan gave me after yesterday's long run was I need to eat more. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know if I just didn't prepare or wasn't thinking, or if I thought that I was going to take it easy and try to tap into some fat stores, but she really wants me to be eating a lot more calories than I did. I think I was out there for 4.5 hours, and I consumed, I think, 500 to 600 calories, and she wanted to see me double or triple that amount. So maybe that would have helped with the soreness. But my legs are pretty dead. I expect them to be dead again tomorrow, and then tomorrow is a relatively easy 8-mile run. So things are good. I've enjoyed some of the books that I've been reading. What have I been reading? My goodness, I'm so bad at this. This week I finished the Emerald Mile, which had to do with the Grand Canyon and some of the battles between the naturalists and the environmentalists and the people who are pushing towards progress and additional power and additional water resources, that revolved around the story of a team that tried to set the fastest known time going down the Colorado River through the Grand Canyon. Very good read. I enjoyed it, especially in light of the group that's going to be going up there here at the end of May to hike rim to rim to rim. And then I've just recently started a book called The Curious Incident with the Dog in the Evening, or the Dog at Night, which is good. I really enjoy having a good book that's going to keep my attention as I put in all these training miles. So right now I'm on a hot streak. I do need to replace and find a few more. So things are good. Hopefully I will enjoy watching these videos in a few years. Hopefully we are on track to reach my goal. I did notice that my score on Ultra Runner sign up had gone up significantly as a result of my time, my relative time at the Grandmasters Ultra. And now it's projecting me out at Western States in the 22-hour range, which I think is hilarious. But I shared that with Megan, and she said that we could definitely do sub 24 if stay the course and don't get injured. She's highly optimistic, so I am thrilled at this stage, and hopefully this ride will continue to go as it's gone. Until next week, see ya.